That is mental. How is that possible?
Look at that for an F1 to start the day. That bite then has definitely highlighted to me how I haven't got it right today. I don't understand what's gone on here, to be honest. Well, at this point, the plan is out the window. Yeah, mate, I've lost my way here big time now.
All of a sudden, last 15 minutes, the wind drops. Just gone in and caught 3 as quick as you can catch them.
Good morning. You are joining me today at one of my most favourite venues in the country and one of the most famous venues in the country, and that is Gold Valley Lakes. You're joining me on a Wednesday open. There's not too many on the match, I reckon about 15, and we're going to film it live for you today. I've drawn peg 52 on Gold Lake, which has been a little bit of an inform area, to be honest. The Rushmore League last week, there was some fish caught in that little area. But the good thing is, Will was told me this morning, every time this lake gets fished, the fish seem to pop up in different areas. So you never really know, which is a brilliant thing. I don't really want to come to a venue where everyone wants to draw one peg, and if you don't draw it, you don't catch. So I'm feeling confident of getting some bites. I don't know whether it's going to be good enough to win there, but we're going to have a good go. I'm going to keep it nice and simple. I'm just going to fish a maggot feeder to the rope to start with. I'm going to ping a few 8mm pellets a bit shorter, and then I'm going to feed a pole line as well. I'm going to feed my pole line with ground bait and maggots. So hopefully during the match I can get a good run on one of those lines and put some fish together and film a great live match for you guys. So the whistle's gone. I just fed my pole line to start off with. I fed like 250, 300 mil of ground bait, like 18 inches short of my pole tip. And then I fed 100 mil of maggots right on my pole tip. And I'm going to start on this little maggot feeder. That's a right result, that. I was worried that wind was a little bit strong, and I wouldn't quite get that feeder there, but it went in beautiful, right on the marker, exactly where I wanted to put it. And there we go, that's it. All I've got to do now, pole line's nice and fed, my maggot feeder's out, exactly where I wanted to put it. I can feed a few pellets with my catapult. God, that wind is strong. Those 8mm then just went off at a right angle. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to fire them a little bit lower. So that's probably only about 20 metres there, 22 metres. But at least I know I'm going to be nice and accurate if I fire them that low. Yeah, that's better. That's gone in. Those two pouchfuls of pellets went in lovely. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to fire about 25, 30. Nice and accurate there, and then that just puts like a bit of a base down, and then I can just keep topping that up. God, that wind is very, very strong. It doesn't actually look too bad when I'm down there, but then when I cast my feeder and feeding my pellets, it is quite strong, to be fair. There we go, that's probably 30 pellets right in the bang on where I want them. So I know I've got a nice little base there. Maggot feeder's out, pole line's fed. I can quite quickly put my hands back in my pockets now. Right, that's 15 minutes in so far. I never had an indication that chuck. I expect it to be a little bit of a slow start, to be honest though. Basically, the water temperature's gone from 8.6 to 6.2 in 2 days. So it's dropped 2.4 or 2.5 degrees over 2 days, which is never really a good thing. So I can't expect it to be a real fast start. I've seen one fish caught. I've seen John Bradford's been on peg 4. He's had it looked like a big F1 to me. He's had that, chucking it to the island. So he's had a decent start, but no one else, I don't think anyone else is caught yet. But that's not always such a bad thing. It looks like most people are fishing maggot feeders. I can't quite see what John's fishing there. He's chucking it right to that island. But I'm just filling this maggot feeder up every time. Just dip it in the water before I cast it out. It just keeps the maggots in the feeder a little bit better. And I'm just trying to be as accurate as possible. It's a little bit tricky with this wind. Oh yes, that went bang on. But I do feel like I'm going to get some bites here. Feels like it's warmed up a touch as well, the air temperature. I'm going to start my stopwatch. So reset that. Go. So I know exactly how long my feeder's been on the bottom for. And then what I'm going to do, I'm casting every 15 minutes to start with. And every time I cast, I'm going to fire like 10 pellets. Aim them nice and low. And then that way, I'm not firing my bait willy-nilly, just like here, there and everywhere. I'm just being nice and sensible with it. I know how much bait I got in my peg, and I can work off the back of that. But it would have been lovely for the rod to get dragged in first chuck, but I can't expect that on days like this. It's absolutely freezing. One of the reasons why I love coming to Gold is I get to see a few people I don't see very often. Today I've been really lucky. I've drilled next to Steve Sanders, my old England and Dorking manager, and we've had so many great trips away. Like, it brings back the memories of fishing at Ostolato, winning the World Club Champs, going all around the world with him, and then just to rock up on a Wednesday just for a little open match and drill next to him is brilliant. Had a bit of a chat this morning, reminiscing about the old days, and hopefully we can both catch a few, but hopefully I'll get a couple more than him. That'd be really nice. Right, so that's another 15 minutes. No indications, but the guy to my right has just caught an F1. Obviously John Ranford opposite has had an F1 as well, and that's the only two fish caught in the match, and one's opposite and one's next to me, so that's a really good sign. I haven't had an indication yet, but I feel like if I just stick to my guns, just replacing my hook, I think I hooked a little bit of gravel when I reeled in then. It might have just pipped the point of it. I feel like if I stick to my guns, just keep plopping it out there every 15 minutes, keep feeding a few pellets, at some point I've got to just go in and just be like, oh, bite, you know, well, fingers crossed anyway. I'm filling my little maggot feeder up and trying to cast as accurate as possible, so I feel like I've got some bait in my peg out there, so if a few F1s do rock up, it might keep them in my peg. Right, try and get right on the marker this time. Yes, bang on. Just feel so much more confident if my feeder lands right on the bang on the right spot every time. Alright, reset my stopwatch. Stop, reset, start. Sink that line. That's the great thing about this line. That's brand new. I put it on last night. And it sinks like an absolute stone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice and low. Beautiful. Beautiful. Right, so that's perfect for me. My feeder's gone right in the same spot as the first two casts. My pellets have gone in nice and accurate, 22 meters ish. My pole line's working for me. I've got my ground bait, I've got my maggots in. There's not a lot else I can do now. I've just got to sit there and be nice and patient, and fingers crossed at some point my rod will get dragged in. If John's had one, and Pete's got another one on now, so there's obviously an odd fish in the area. I think the guy on 57 just down from me again has got one on as well. So that could be a sign that this wind has pushed those fish down to that end of the lake. So my first initial thoughts with that is, if I don't get a bite straight in front of me again, I might creep down to my right if that's where the fish seem to be down on that wind. But for the next 15 minutes I'm going to sit tight and hopefully get a bite. So that's 45 minutes gone. 3 chucks right in the same area, but no signs yet. It's a little bit of a weird one, this, to be honest. We're all fishing maggot feeders on this bank, and we're all fishing at a similar distance, and I think I'm the only one that's not had a bite, which I don't get really, because my first 3 chucks have gone in lovely. I'm fishing the right hook length. My setup's all bang on, so I don't understand why I haven't had one and everybody else has. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to have one more chuck just there. So in that now I've got 4 feederfuls right on a marker. And then if I don't get a sign within the next 15 minutes right on that marker, I'm just going to move probably 8 meters to my right and just have one quick chuck there, simply because Pete to my right, he's chucking it exactly the same distance away from the rope as I am, and he's had 2, and I think he lifted his rod up at one point, so he's obviously had an indication or a bite. So he's had like 3 bites and I've not had one. So if I move like 8 to 10 meters to my right, have one quick cast there, see if I can get one. If I don't get one, I'll move back onto my bait. That's my plan anyway. It's a bit of a weird one, this. So one thing I've got to take into consideration today is that the water temperature at the weekend on Sunday on the Rushmore League was 8.7, and over a 3-day period it's dropped to 6.2. So it's dropped 2.5 in 3 days, which is never ever a good thing. No matter what type of fishing you're doing, that's never a good thing for the water temperature to move that quickly in any direction. I feel like the fish this time of year like steady weather, and it's gone a lot colder in 3 days. So I'm just going to be nice and patient and be nice and careful with everything I'm doing. The last thing I want to be doing when the water temperatures drop that quickly is start piling bait, being a bit here, there and everywhere. I'm just going to be nice and accurate. I'm just going to be nice and cautious with my bait. Wait until I get a bite and then make some decisions. Right, so I'm so glad I had that 4th chuck where I started my day, because I've literally, what am I in? I'm like 13 minutes into that cast and it's just wrapped round. So I've hooked my first fish. The only thing is, it was a really, really weird bite. It's just literally pulled round like that and then just stayed round like a liner. And normally you just get like a little drop back, or they just like, it's obvious that they're on. But this was really, really strange bite. I don't know, it might be foul hooked. Like a fish has come into my feeder, moved my feeder, and I might have just foul hooked it. It's really, really strange. But it's a really, really good sign that I've hooked one, and the best thing about it, I'm on the spot where I've started, so I feel like I've got 4 feederfuls of bait in my peg. Oh no, it is. Smack in the mouth. That was so weird. Weirdest bite, the weirdest fight. Look at that for an F1. That is one thing about coming to gold. The fish in here, absolutely beautiful. Look at that for an F1 to start the day. Right, hopefully that's the start of a really, really good day. Steve Sanders has got another one next to me there. One thing I have seen before at Gold Valley is sometimes if you don't catch straight away, when the fish rock up, they tend to stay in your peg. I've had it loads of times on Syndicate Lake where you don't catch early, other people catch, but when you do catch, you tend to catch more. So I'm just coming up with some scenarios in my head. I'm manifesting what could happen here. I'm hoping that might be a scenario. Oh, yes. Absolutely bang on the money again, that. The thing is now, what I'm getting a little area of bait out there now. That's 5 chucks out there. And what's in that cup? There's got to be, the maggot feeder. There's got to be 50 to 60 maggots in the feeder. So I am getting a little bit of an area of bait, which I prefer. I don't like pop chucking, just like chuck here, chuck, because I never really feel like I'm building anything up. Now I've got one in that area. If there is a few fish moving to my peg, they might stay. Look, Steve's got another one there. So he's having a great day, to be honest. He's got 3. The only thing is, I know Steve's catching a lot more than me there, but I am fishing exactly the same, so there's not a lot else I can do. He's fishing a maggot feeder. It looks like the same size hook length as me, same length. He's chucking it exactly the same distance as me, so there ain't a lot I can change. And now that I've got one, I wouldn't want to change loads anyway. I've just chucked out again. Went bang on the money. And I fed my pellets. So there's not a lot else I can do. I just got to be patient and stick to my guns here. If he carries on catching like he is, he'll probably win the match. But I just got to try and catch as many as I can. I mean, that's massive, that. That's a huge F1. Fair play to him. Steve, you alright? You look like you had an issue on hooking that one then. Right, that is a brilliant sign. So what's that? 3 minutes 45 on my next chuck after hooking that one. Plopped out, got one, 3 minutes 45. So, and best thing about that, I'm right on my marker again. So if I can get this one in, get back out on my marker, that's 6 feederfuls of bait out there. So I'm building my peg, and I've had a couple of bites as well. So I said it was going to be a bit of a tricky start, but I've had 2 bites and 2 chucks, so you can't ask for much more than that. I think there's probably only one person in the match with more than me now, which is Steve, which is next to me, which is a really, really good thing. Because if you're next to the person that's catching this time of year, you're definitely going to get a bite or 2 at some point. So I've got a feeling now I could just plop out every single chuck to the end of the match, catch £120, but that would be nice. I don't think that's quite going to happen. Just need to try and really concentrate on these fish. My clutch is set really loose. Just concentrate on getting it in. These rods are amazing for this type of fishing. They're so soft, but they've got loads of backbone to get that feeder to that rope. Just going to try and get the fish nice and close. There we go. Slightly smaller one, that one. But brilliant start. 2 and 2 chucks, that. Ooh, I was going to put that in the net by hand, but better not. My hands are a bit cold for that anyway. So, same process again. 3 maggots on the hook. Fill that feeder right up. I'm hoping that wind just drops a touch as I go to feed, so I can be nice and accurate. Oh no. That wind just caught that as I was casting. Right, what I'm going to do, I know it's going to take a few seconds, I'm just going to wait, see if that wind just drops a touch before casting again. So strong. Right, let's have a go. Plop that maggot in. Try and keep everything as nice and low. Oh yes, bang on. Beautiful. One thing I will say, if you do get a cast go wrong, I wouldn't leave it. Just wind it straight in. I know the bait's probably coming out, but I don't want to just start fishing here, there and everywhere. I want to fish right on my marker. And if you do get a cast go wrong, which is going to happen today in this weather, because it's really strong, the wind, just make a little mental note of where it landed, and maybe you can just plop onto that point a bit later. Come on, be on. Is that on? Yeah, it's got to be on. Yes. That is an hour and a half in now. So the last 3 chucks now have had 3 bites, which is a great sign. Steve's having a brilliant day next to me. His fish seem to be bigger than mine as well. So I'm guessing he's on the main shoal there, and I'm just picking a few off. But he's the only person in the match now with more than me. I gotta be honest, I can't ask for much more on a day like today. That's 4 in the last 5 chucks and missed a bite. I did want to have a little look on that pole, but I just can't do it at the moment, because it seems like when I get my feeder out, it plops right in the right spot, and I sit there really nice and patient. It seems like I just get one. And Steve's catching well to my left. I think he's got like 6 now. This will be my 4th. So I'm not totally out of the equation yet to win, and I'm having a decent day as well, which I mean, I'm not being funny, the water's 6 degrees, it's absolutely Baltic in that wind. You can't ask for much more than this. Yes, a nice little carp. That is better. Right. I thought it was a carp, the way it went off like that. That was a brilliant sign, because that's a carp, which is like the weight of 2 F1s. I want to have a look on the pole, but I just can't. I can't at the minute, because I'm just getting too many bites on this. and I'm chucking it right in the same spot every time, so I feel like I'm really building my peg. Oh, come on, wind, give me a break, give me a break. Come on, I'm gonna have to punch this really low. Right, so we are 2 hours and 10 minutes in. I'm not gonna lie, I've had a little bit of a meltdown. So basically I caught that carp, and then all of a sudden as I netted it, the wind got up, and I was trying to, when I went back out, I was trying to get my feeder in the same spot, and I just couldn't get my feeder there. It was just too windy. I was hitting the clip in the right spot, but as the feeder was hitting the clip, it was getting blown left to right, and I just couldn't get my feeder. So that chuck then went about 2 meters to the right of where I've been catching, but I didn't get one. I just left that out there for 15 minutes. But I don't like casting my feeder in like 3 or 4 times in the wrong spot. I just feel like it ruins your peg a little bit. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have a sneaky little look on the pole. The only problem is, again, the wind is a bit of a nightmare here now. But I've got my bump bar set up. I'm gonna plop it out now. I'm just gonna literally have 10 minutes, see if I can get a bite, and go from there. And then I'm gonna have a 2 or 3 minute look without putting a pot on, and just see if I can get a bite. I can sit there nice and patient now. I'm gonna set my stopwatch. I'm just gonna have 5 minutes without feeding, and then 5 minutes after a feed, if that makes sense. Just gonna sit there now, see if I can get a bite. If not, I'll sprinkle in like 30 maggots and see, because sometimes this is gonna be the problem today. I just can't hold it. Look at that. Oh my god, why? Why has that happened? That is unbelievable. I've got to be honest, I think this is I'm gonna have to write this pole off. It's just impossible to hold it. Yeah, I'm binning that off, I think. What a day. What a day. Why? No! So, had a little go on the pole, but I gotta be honest, I can't hold it. The wind's got up again, and it's just totally ruined that pole line. I don't think I'm probably going to get any accuracy on this feeder either. So I'm just going to have to do my best, plop it out there as accurate as I can, and just hope for the best. I'm still feeding my pellets short, so that's got to be my next move. But I think virtually I'm going to have to write that pole off, because I couldn't keep it still enough to, anything like still enough to get a bite. I don't think anyway. But I'm going to go back out now where I've been fishing this feeder and just see if I can get a quick bite, because obviously I've rested it. Oh yes, yes, it landed in the right spot. Thank God for that. So that little rest definitely done it some good. That's been out 1 minute and 29 seconds after that little rest on the pole, and it's gone absolutely flown round that. And that feels like another carp to me, which is a really, really good sign. But I was absolutely begging for a bite, that chuck, because that wing got up. Ooh, that feels weird. That wing got up and I had a little bit of a bad spell on that feeder. Then I dropped in on the pole and I couldn't hold the pole, and I was getting really, really frustrated because I just couldn't fish. And then I went back out. It landed bang on in the right spot where I had my first 6 or 7 chucks in 90 seconds is round, so thank God for that, because I would have been at a point then where I'm like, I don't really know what to do next for the best, because I feel like I can't really fish because of the wind. But I'm going to get this one in, hopefully, anyway. Yeah, no, it's an F1 that. And then that puts me right back in the race then, because it's halfway through and I'll have 5 fish, which is sound. And then what I'll do, I'll try and get another, and then I might have a little look on that lead line with a wafter, and try and catch some carp on that lead line with like 2 hours to go. Well, that'd be a perfect end if I can catch a few carp on that wafter late. Right, so that's a really good sign to go back out and get one straight away. Don't feel like they're as big as everybody else's, but I might be wrong. Right, good. So just over halfway gone. I've got 5 fish, which is decent. I just need a good last couple of hours. Right, so we've got an hour and 50 to go. I've lost my way a little bit. I had like a decent little run on that maggot feeder to the rope. And then I had a quick look on the pole, but I couldn't hold it. I've gone back out on a maggot feeder and got one straight away, which I really needed. But then I went back on a maggot feeder, nothing. And either side of me have dropped short onto that pinging line. And they've both caught. They've both had a little run of 2 or 3 fish, and I haven't. I've dropped in on it, which I don't understand why. Like, my pellets have been going in lovely. I've just swapped to a little wafter on a lead, plopped it over it, and no, nothing. So I've lost my way a little bit. I've fallen behind the anglers to either side of me, only 2 or 3 fish behind, but I have fallen behind now. But I don't really know what to do next. I feel like the pole's gonna be really difficult in this wind. Even if I can hold it, whether I can get good enough presentation to catch is another thing. And I feel like I can get an odd bite on a maggot feeder to the middle, but I don't know if just getting an odd bite is going to be any good today. I got 5 fish with an hour and 50 to go, but I don't know when my next bite's coming from. Like, this short line, I can't believe it. I really am shocked, because I've been feeding it really nice, and I've just had one chuck right on it, nothing, and then I've just had a chuck like 3-4 meters past and nothing. But yeah, that's what's happening so far. What I'm going to have to do is give this another 7 or 8 minutes, this chuck. If I don't get one, I've got no option really but to go back to the middle on a maggot feeder, and see if I can get one out there. But like, the weather like this now, I'm just not going to be able to cast a maggot feeder that out there. It's ridiculous, the wind now. So hopefully I just got to keep my fingers crossed that I get a little run on my short line with pellets. But dropped in and nothing. I can't believe it. It's such a weird day, this. Really, really strange day, but it's kind of enjoyable that it's weird. Like, it sort of makes you think about everything. But I don't know. Lost my way a little bit. So hopefully if I can just get another bite and then sort of like lead on from that bite. I really needed this to go round, and then I can just have a little run on this line, but it ain't gone round. It's really strange.
gone a bit.
Yeah, mate, I've lost my way here big time
You've gone
now.
a bit quiet and a
Yeah,
bit grumpy, mate.
totally gone now, mate. I don't understand what's gone on here, to be honest. Like, Steve's dropped short on his pellet line and had a good little run. I think he's caught 3. Pete to my right has dropped short on his maggot feeder and he's had a real good run. He's caught like 5 or 6. I've dropped short onto my pellets with a wafter and a lead, not had a bite. So I just swapped back to my maggot feeder, plopped my maggot feeder short, never had a bite. And then I've come in on my pole and not had a bite. So I'm a little bit puzzled at the moment. I don't know if I've done something wrong, or maybe I've fed a few too many pellets. Like, I haven't seen anyone on this bank have a bite on the pole. But I quite fancied it for a bite because that wind's just dropped a touch and my float sat there absolutely perfect. So I fancied it for a bite, but it's not looking promising at the moment. But yeah, I've totally lost my way here now. What I need to do is just try and catch a fish now and try and put a little plan together on how I'm going to spend the last like 90 minutes of the match, because at the moment I don't feel like I can get a bite anywhere. I've definitely not fished the right match today, I don't think, personally. It's difficult to come to a venue I haven't fished for a couple of years and get it dead right, even with the best info. It's so difficult, and the weather's changed dramatically over the last 2 or 3 days. So to come here today and fish a perfect match isn't really like possible, but I've definitely not fished the right match here. In hindsight, probably what I should have done is fished exactly how Pete's done to my right. He's just set one rod up, maggot feeder. He's fished a maggot feeder to the middle and a maggot feeder like halfway, and he's just like nicked a fish, nicked a fish, nicked a fish, and then he's had a real good run short, nicked a fish, and I should have probably just fished like that. But like, if that temperature wouldn't have dropped over the last 3 days, I could have come here and caught a load of fish on the pole. So fishing's tricky, mate, this time of year. Fishing's so difficult. It's so easy to get it wrong and it's so easy to get it right at times, you know. So what I'm going to do, I think really winning or do anything like that is out of the question now. What I need to do, I've got 5 fish and we've got an hour and 20 left. What I need to do is just try and catch a couple of fish now, just to enjoy the last little bit of the match. But really, in hindsight, with this temperature dropping the way it has, I should have just set one maggot feeder rod up and fished a short line and a long line. But I've probably fished a match that's allowed me, that on another day would have caught me like a decent weight, like pinging pellets and fishing a pole. If there was more fish feeding today, that probably would have been right. So difficult.
What's stopping you from doing that now?
Because I've already fed my short line with pellets, and to be honest, once you get to this far in the match, it's pointless messing around trying to change your match. It's just pointless. You need to just stick to your guns and just fish to the end of the match, you know. There is an odd fish being hooked on the pole on the other bank, but they have got quite a bit more room there. So I think what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to come off this now, I'm going to put a few maggots in, I'm going to go to the middle on my maggot feeder, hopefully get one, and then just fish that maggot feeder to the middle and have an odd chuck on the pole to the end, and just cut that pellet line out. That did look like an indication then. I'll just have another minute because that did look like a little indication. John Bradford opposites just hooked a fish on the pole on 4. So you never know. I mean, me and Steve have fed a pole line and we're quite close here, so maybe that's the reason why we ain't caught. But what I do know is hindsight's the best angler I've ever met. Right, so that bite then has definitely highlighted to me how I haven't got it right today. With this sudden change in temperature, I think basically the only thing that's been worth getting a bite on today is a maggot feeder. And I've tried fishing a pole, but that doesn't seem right with this weather, and I've pinged pellets short, and I've not had a bite. So in hindsight, what I should have done is just fished a maggot feeder short, a maggot feeder long, and just nicked an odd fish all day. But that's probably only because of this sudden temperature change. Like, if it would have stayed warm like it was last week, the match that I fished today probably would have been perfect. But you live and learn. That's what fishing's all about. That's a carp, that. A little skinny carp. So, I've got an hour and 10 to go. What I might do is fish this maggot feeder to the middle and then plop this maggot feeder over the top of where I've been feeding those pellets. That might be worth a shout later on. God. Oh, lovely. Yeah, please. Yeah. Lovely, mate. Yeah. I'll have one, please, buddy. No, same, mate. Thank you very much. You're a superstar. Look at that for service, eh? And that is exactly why we come to Gold Valley. Right, come on then, Cal. Hour to go. Oh, Ben, what a cast. It's like watching Will Raisin, that was. We've got just under an hour to go. And I said briefly that I feel like I fished the wrong match here. And I thought, right, I just had one chuck long on a maggot feeder, I got one. And then I had another chuck and I didn't get one. So I thought, right, I'll plop short just past where I've been feeding those pellets on a maggot feeder, and I've got one after like 8.5 minutes. I feel like probably if I would have just fished like this all match, I would have caught a few more. Whether it'd be enough to beat Steve, I don't know, because he's just caught so well on that maggot feeder long. I think he's cast into the back of that island, and I think that island's probably just holding a few fish there. But I've got to be honest, I have enjoyed it. I mean, it's all well and good going to get a bite of chuck and that on days, but it's quite nice to come and do a bit of this style of fishing. Hey, there we go. Oh, that's a big one. Lovely F1 that. Look at that for an F1. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. No, why? When I needed to cast that feeder to the middle a minute ago, it's like a hurricane, and then I drop it short because I can't cast to the middle, and look here now. So we got 30 minutes to go. What have I got now? I've got 5 F1s and 2 carp. Feel like I should have just fished a maggot feeder short and long. But you never know. Steve's going to win the match. He's had a lovely day there. He's just fished his maggot feeder to the back of that island. And there seems to be a little ball of fish just hanging off the back of that island. I've kept topping my pole line up, but the problem is every time I've gone in and to pick it up, I just can't hold it. The wind's just dropped now for a couple of minutes, so I've just gone back out to the middle. I'm gonna give this like 8 minutes, and then I'm gonna drop in on my pole and just see if I can get a couple of bites on the pole late. But I haven't done a lot wrong, I don't think. That pellet line where I've pinged pellets has just been really a waste of time. I think this sudden water temperature drop has just switched the fish away from the pole and pellets and stuff like that, and it's just been an out and out maggot feeder day. but that's what happens this time of year. The fishing can change from day to day. But I've enjoyed it though. It's been nice to come and do a bit of this style of fishing, and really it's really exciting when you do get a bite on this maggot feeder.
Well, better late than never, eh? I think there's 10 minutes to go, and I thought I'd just drop in on the pole because the wind dropped a touch and it flew straight under and I got one. I don't know exactly what it is. What that is. Oh, it's just an F1, but it's not full. Unbelievable. Honestly, I think if the weather would have been better, we would have caught on this pole today. I'm sure we would have. Well, that is unbelievable. Like literally 15 minutes to go. Dropped in, got 2 and 2 chucks. Got a bream. I did feel like there was some fish on this pole line earlier, but I just couldn't fish it. The wind was so bad. And then all of a sudden it's just dropped a touch. And I've had 2 and 2 chucks on it. Oh, bloody hell. Pull me. That is mental. How is that possible? All of a sudden, last 15 minutes, the wind drops. Just gone in and caught 3 as quick as you can catch them. That one pulled me elastic out. That is actually mental. That's another bream. I'm gonna win the silvers pool with 2 bream. Look at the size of that thing. Oh, there we go. That is it. God, that has been extremely frustrating at times. Just felt like there's some fish in my peg, just not been able to fish. Like I've had one good run on a maggot feeder to the middle, and the wind was so bad I couldn't get my feeder in the right spot. And then I've not really been able to hold my pole all day, and then 20 minutes to go, it's just dropped. I've dropped in and caught 2 bream and a big F1 on the pole. The only thing I've done wrong today, I've pinged pellets on that middle line, and I shouldn't have pinged pellets. What I should have done was had a maggot feeder long, a maggot feeder short, and then my pole line, and then just swapped on the maggot feeder lines, and then late on had to go on the pole. That would have been the perfect match. But like I said earlier, hindsight's a brilliant angler. But considering it's this cold, it's been class. I think I've ended up with 5 or 6 F1s, 2 carp, 2 bream. Steve's going to win the match. He's had a lovely day there. He's had a pretty easy day there. He's cast into an island on peg 50, and he's just chucked a maggot feeder to the island, and he's had steady bites all day. So well done to him. John Radford's caught quite well on the pole over there. So yeah, there's been loads of fish caught. It's fished really well considering the temperature. But I've enjoyed it. I was a little bit rusty because I haven't really been here, but still had a decent day's fishing, decent match, and I've learnt loads. Right, so that's the end of it. We've just retreated into the tackle shop because it is absolutely chucking down. So we've been a little bit lucky to avoid that weather today. Analysis of the day, I've weighed 36 pounds. I think I could have caught a bit more if I'd have went back. The thing is with that type of fishing, when you're fishing for like 10 to 15 fish, you've got to be quite confident on where to go next, if that makes sense. And because I haven't been coming, I was a little bit unsure about what to do next, if that makes sense. I should have fished a maggot feeder halfway instead of pinging pellets, but you can't get it dead right every time you come. I've caught 3 fish on the pole really late, last 20 minutes, simply because the wind's dropped. So I'm a bit gutted that I couldn't hold my pole earlier, because I'm sure I would have caught some more fish on that. But overall, it's fished absolutely brilliant. I think 55 pounds one, there's a 54, there's loads of weight. So when like you catch like 30 odd pound and 50 odd winds, you can never ever say you're out of the race. So I'm really impressed how I was fished today, and the fish are absolutely amazing. So I'm definitely going to start coming a bit more. Shame it's not a little bit closer to my house, but I've really enjoyed the day. And added a little bonus, I won the silver pool. I caught those 2 bream late, which went about nearly £7, those 2 bream, and no one else has really caught any silverfish because everybody's obviously fishing for carp. So yeah, a good day. I really enjoyed it. I want to come back now to just put a few wrongs right, and yeah, and I think I could have come top 3 if I would have come back.